What's up, Team Buckhouse? In today's video, we're going to talk about 10 things you should never do in a terrain park. Okay guys, so the first thing you should never do in a terrain park is a common one, and you probably have gotten yelled at it, or people yell people for doing this all the time, and it's called side jumping. It's when you go to like a feature like a rail, and instead of hitting the feature, you just jump off to the side, and that's the trick. You want to make sure if you're going to hit the kicker of a feature, you actually hit the feature, because the lanes next to the feature are so people can ride past. If you side jump, you can almost hit someone. So for example, we're right up to this feature. I should hit this feature, but if I randomly just go sideways, there could be someone right in front of me in the way, or like doing something. So if I come and like side jump, you can cause a collision, but also you can cause a rut going the opposite direction away from the feature. So once again, on rails and boxes and stuff, you want to hit those features or don't hit the kicker at all. I think number 2 you should never do in a terrain park is cut across the landing. I'm standing next to a massive jump, but what if I want to be on that side of the park? I could just cut through right here. You don't want to do that. If you cut through, someone could jump down, you get wrecked, you know, you could be in their landing. That's very dangerous for the people that are hitting the feature. It's also dangerous for you, you could get hit. But that doesn't just apply to jumps, it applies to rails. So if I'm coming down to this feature, I need to know that behind this rail is a landing. So I don't want to just be cutting and hanging out in this area of the feature because someone can hit it and hit me. This is very important. Just because you might not be able to hit this rail or the next rail doesn't mean someone in the park can't. So just because you can't hit those features, just know someone is gonna hit that thing and they're probably gonna land on you. All right, so the third thing you should never do is case the first jump and then just try to hit the second one, because you're probably not gonna have the speed and you're gonna case, which means not make it to the landing on the next jump. So for example, I'm riding up to this jump, let's say I go way too slow, and I like fall here. I shouldn't get up and try and hit this next one, because my speed's gonna not be proper either, and it's not gonna work out. So when you're hitting jumps, make sure you get the first one dialed before you try to hit the next one in session, because the next one's getting bigger and you don't want to get more hurt because you went off a bigger wedge that caused you to fall even more. All right, thing number 4 you should never do is sit on features or in front of features. You don't want to be blocking something that someone might want to hit. You're just chilling, just doing whatever you want, like not caring about other people. So like, don't sit on a feature and don't sit in front of one. From this position right here, I can't hit this rail, and neither can anyone else above me. So yeah, don't sit in front of features. Also, sometimes you might think you're sitting on a feature that's like not a feature, but it is. Here's an example. It's hard to tell, but right now we're sitting on top of a hip. People will be landing on this side or this side, or a really gnarly sender can literally go over this entire thing. So you might be standing here thinking like, oh, I'm in a safe spot because everyone's gonna be landing on the side, but honestly, you're still in the way of technically a feature. Just because you can't jump from the beginning of this jump all the way over to there, doesn't mean someone else can't, or someone could jump from that side over to this side. I think number 5 you should never do in the terrain park is ride next to someone that's riding a feature. So if someone's dropping in to do this rail and I am also dropping in, and now we're side by side, I should stop and let the person on the feature, you know, carry on and do the line. Like, I don't want to just like carry the same speed as them and just ride right next to them the entire time. It's really dangerous, because if they end up falling off and now I'm right here next to them or chilling right here in their landing area, I'm gonna get hit, he's gonna be a part of a collision, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna suck. So don't ride next to people. And that also goes for jumps. Don't ride next to people in jumps. If someone drops for the jump and you're like, well, I'm not gonna hit the jump, I'll just ride next to them. Don't do that either, because they could drift and you all of a sudden are in their landing area. All right, thing number 6 you should never do in the terrain park. Let's say you and your friends all stopped in front of a feature that you want to hit. There's a feature above you. You need to always look uphill before dropping for your next feature to make sure no one's coming down in flow. The rider in flow always has the right of way. So if you're stationary, whoever's riding through the park has the right of way, but also like you want to look uphill so you don't get hit. So make sure you're always looking uphill. That make sure no one's coming down features or jumps and gonna hit you. We don't want to get hit. That's the whole goal of this entire thing. I think number 7 you should never do is pass somebody in the half pipe. If someone's already in the pipe, you are not allowed to go in front of them. So if they're going up the wall and you want to go straight down the middle, it's very dangerous because you might end up being in their landing area, once again causing that collision that we keep trying to avoid. So don't do that. So tip number 8, which could have been tip number 1 or whatever, doesn't really matter what order, is if you go into a new terrain park, make sure you look at the features before you just hit them, and this is why. All right, so the reason why is you might see a feature that you think you can hit, like, oh, I got this rail right here, I can totally hit that. And you hit it, and all of a sudden, there's stairs at the bottom of that feature. You had no idea that there was gonna be stairs there. Likewise, you could be like sending it off a chunk of snow and you think like, oh, I know it's gonna be a nice landing there, and you go off of that, and then there's just a rail there too. You wanna make sure that when you hit a feature, you know what's gonna be on the other side of it, what it is. So it never hurts to roll through and see what you're really sizing up on these features. Okay, so thing number 9 that you should just never really be doing in the park is standing on knuckles of jumps. There's really no reason to stand here unless you're gonna be filming your buddy. But a couple reasons why you don't want to just be standing here is 1, the knuckle is a feature. People will do tricks off the knuckle. 2, if someone's hitting this jump and he's a filmer, you're now standing in the filmer's way. 3, you're sketching out the riders that do want to hit the jump. So like standing here is just not the best spot. If you can stand somewhere else, do that. Switch. Now the last thing, the 10th thing you don't want to do in the park, and we don't have one because all the features are open right now, is hitting a closed feature. Now a feature can close for multiple reasons. You know, the park group can be grooming it. So if they're over here making this rail look good, don't hit that rail. If the feature just has a closed sign in front of it, there could be something wrong with the feature. You don't want to do that. I got a little sketchy one time in New Mexico. I got wrecked.
Oh my God.
I ostrich'd so hard.
That was a textbook ostrich.
Oh, I've never. That was the biggest ostrich of my life.
Ostrich.
A lot of times they'll close jumps because the speed is off or the trajectory is off or they groomed it a little too poppy. So you don't want to like see a jump and be like, oh, I can hit this jump, and you go and this is a powdery day and you case it by a whole board and it hurts. So don't hit closed features. And on that note, that is 10 things you guys should just never do in the terrain park. It's bad etiquette, it's dangerous, it's gonna get you hurt, and it's gonna get other people hurt. So try not to do any of that stuff. With that, Team Buckhouse, I hope this video helped you. If it did, hit the subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching. Keep evolving. We'll see you tomorrow in another video. It's daily on this snowboard channel. We do stuff like this daily.